Yeah, man. Welcome back to the Yadi Yogi Perspective. This is episode 2, and today we're talking about yoga. What is yoga? Yoga isn't just about poses or stretching, it's a way of living, a tool for growth and healing, and a way that we can tap into ourselves. And we do it every day without even realizing, you know? So, welcome back to the Yadi Yogi Perspective. I'm your host, Jahdea, and on today's episode, we're diving into a question that I get all the time. What is yoga? For so many, yoga looks like just a physical practice where you're stretching and twisting your body into all sorts of extravagant poses. But yoga is far deeper than that. It's far deeper than the physical poses on the mat. It is something we can live, we can breathe each day. Remember, my people, the mission is rest as resistance, it's rest as rejuvenation, it's rest as remembrance of one's true self, connecting with the I and the Most High. In this episode, we'll explore the meaning of yoga, and I'll also introduce you to the 8 limbs of yoga, otherwise known as Ashtanga yoga. Just know that in big and small ways, we're doing yoga every single day. So, embracing it as a lifestyle, I'm proud to say that it supports my growth and my peace. And for that reason, I am extremely curious to keep on this path of learning and growing. Yoga is a Sanskrit word meaning to yoke, to form a union, to combine. It refers to the practice of connecting mind, body, and spirit. It's an ancient system originating in India, perhaps over 5,000 years or more. Yoga is designed to guide us on a more harmonious, balanced, and fulfilling life. I've learned of Kemetic yoga, which is yoga for Black people coming from ancient Egypt. So I'm not ready to dive into that as it's an opportunity to learn for me. And I just want to put out from where I am right now and where my perspective is at. Because I'm not educated enough to speak about Kemetic yoga, I'll talk about it as I learn. After all, we're Afrocentric here, so that's just gonna happen naturally. Most people associate yoga with just the physical postures or the asanas. As we will see in just a moment, the physical aspect is just one part of yoga. In reality, yoga is a multidimensional practice that encourages us to live in mindfulness, in compassion, in purpose with ourselves. Yoga is an applied science. It is a systemic collection of laws with the aim of connecting mind, body, and spirit to bring about self actualization and connect with your higher self and with a higher power, God, I'll say the Most High. So Ashtanga Yoga aligns also with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Have you ever seen that pyramid? Maslow was an American psychologist that developed the Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory in 1943. And for him, he's saying that as humans, we all desire something. We all have basic needs that must be met before we can pursue higher levels of psychological and self fulfillment. At the bottom lies our basic needs, and at the peak, it's self actualization. It's connecting with, that source. As humans, we're innately motivated to achieve certain desires. So, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it starts from basic physiological needs, things that we need for our daily life, for survival, like air, water, food, sleep, shelter, to release bodily needs and stuff like that. So, without meeting these basic requirements, we're stuck in that struggle. We don't have the capacity to explore much else. And this is where I like to point out that as Black people, this is an era where we're still stuck. We are the most disadvantaged group. We are behind in so many ways, economically, socially, in all the ways, for the most part, except for the few. And not to say that that's an excuse to be where you are. I'm just pointing it out that we're not going to ignore the reality of what our lives are. And no, we're not a monolith. There are different experiences within the Black community, within the Jamaican society, even. But still, the majority or history and all these things have a lot to play in it. So, if our basic physiological needs are not met, then we don't even have time to think about our safety, personal safety, financial stability, financial wellness, having a safe space, a safe environment. Because guess what? A lot of us are stuck in situations where we just can't do any better. Where am I gonna sleep? What me I gonna sleep? What me I gonna eat? See, I have to stay stuck in a look in a the surrounding that you're at. When our basic needs are met, this is when we move up to think more about safety needs, then to esteem needs like self-esteem and getting respect from others. So at the top of the hierarchy, according to Maslow, is self-actualization, the realization of one's full potential. It involves pursuing our creative interest, growing, having that personal purpose, striving to be the most authentic version of yourself. That's what Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's what Maslow's theory stipulates. But not all levels are linear. It's not, oh, I achieve this and then I'll achieve that. We ebb and flow because it's life. Ashtanga yoga follows a similar structure. And yoga on a whole follows a similar structure when you think about our energetical body. We have to fulfill the root before we can move on up to feelings and self-worth and love and feeling connection and developing communities. If you're hungry or if you don't have anywhere to sleep, you can't think about nothing else. Life is hard. So when our basic needs aren't met, what do you think happens in your body? We hold on to stress and tension. We store it. The physical practice, the asana practice of yoga helps to restore that balance within the body. Yeah? Yoga's objective is true wellness. When we develop stillness and stability in the body, that is when we create space in our minds to also have stillness and stability and calm. How we can better manage the fluctuations of the different emotions, the thoughts, the ideas, the beliefs. So when we can control the mind and how we're feeling, because this leads to feeling, when we can learn to control our nervous system and the thoughts that we're thinking, which impacts the way that we feel, the way that we act, which then manifest in the body as all sorts of things, stuck energies. You see how it's all connected? So it just come back to energy, releasing, healing, freeing up space. The 8 limbs of yoga, you can think of it as like a map, a roadmap that's guiding us towards a deeper understanding and spiritual development. Similar to what Maslow's hierarchy of needs are saying. We can apply both systems of human development alongside each other. Each limb represents a different aspect of yoga that's taking us from how we interact with the external world and to how we connect with ourselves. Ultimately, though, it's leading us to higher consciousness, to connect with a higher version of ourselves, to connect with Source, the Creator, the Most High One. This is not religious doctrine, let me point it out. This is a perspective drawing from different perspectives, from different sources of information from different peoples. I'm sure what makes sense to me and what I find interesting. As long as it's inviting me to connect with myself better, on a mental level, on a physical level, and on a spiritual level, that's all me want to talk about. Or you can connect with God. How can you connect with the God inside you? Because let me tell you something. God exists within you. God exists within me. And I just don't believe that anything that's going to teach me that God is a complete separate entity outside of myself that I have to fear and leave all salvation to. That really makes sense to me personally. Yeah. But here, so I'm talking about tools that can help you connect with you, Connect with God if you think that is a way that resonates with you. So, I'm not try to convince nobody of nothing. That same universal power that we all exist amongst, we're all humans having a human experience for the first time. It connects each of us with each other, as unfortunate as that may feel like sometimes, because you're like, some people are like, how are we living in the same world? Like, we just, we're at different levels, we're at different frequencies, and that's okay. But we're all connected to the same source. We're all energetic beings within this realm. So if you believe in nothing else, just know that it's energy. It's all energy. And it's how we choose to interact with that energy and how we choose to let energy to control us. Quite frankly, that is the human experience because we're in our physical bodies. Connecting with yourself, you have to connect to the physical. I'm very passionate about that. All right, here's a quick breakdown of the 8 limbs of yoga. The first limb we'll talk about are the yamas. And the yamas are like ethical guidelines. Think of them as universal morals. The yamas are principles that guides us on how we relate to the world, to others. There are 5 yamas: non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, moderation, and non-attachment. The second limb are the niyamas, and this is more about you, your internal world, how you can observe yourself on a spiritual level and apply self-discipline. So it's how you manage your inner world. And there are 5 niyamas. Sucha, which is purity. It's keeping our mind and our body free from negativity, clean. Yeah? Santosha, contentment. It's about cultivating gratitude and peace within yourself. Because that's all we have. Tapas, discipline. It's about that. Tapas mean heat. So it's about building that fire within yourself. Tapas are self-discipline. It's a way how we build inner strength and commit to self-discipline. And we have been thinking about self-discipline most recently is like a self-love. Second one, self-study. It's about reflecting on who we are. The third niyama is self-study. Reflecting on who you are, doing some introspection, learning from our experiences. How could I have done better? What did I learn from that? You have to ask yourself, question yourself. Then the fifth one is surrendering to a higher power than yourself. Letting go of control and trusting in a divine consciousness, in a universal power, in God. The third limb of yoga is the asana, the physical practice, one we used to seeing. So this is the kind most associated with the Western world. But it's the practice of being on your mat in postures. It's about preparing the body for meditation. It's a workout, yes. So you develop strength, flexibility. We also develop stillness and even softness. So it's about balancing that body and really challenging your body. It's not about perfecting the pose or reaching. There's no perfect way to the pose. As long as you have a breath and you have a body, you can do yoga. But you're supposed to get that idea by now. It helps us, doing the physical practice helps us to release physical tension, giving us a space for calm and for focus. I love it. I love that part. I love the physical practice. Then you add pranayama, breath work, limb number 4. So pranayama, of course, breath exists outside of yoga. So this is why I was saying that you're doing yoga without even realizing, because just breathing. But with yoga, the difference is we're intentionally trying to pay attention to the breath, to the movement, to what we're thinking. So pranayama practice is about controlling your breathing, helping us to connect with that life force energy. Prana, life force energy. And it's not just about deep breathing. It's about learning how to use the breath to calm and center your mind, focus the mind. This is a very powerful tool because it's involuntary You don't think about it. You just wake up and breathe. You don't even remember say you have breath. And then it's involuntary. So when we consciously breathe, the benefits can be so exponential. Fifth limb is pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses. So this is where you practice drawing your attention inside yourself, beyond the mind, tuning or turning away from the distractions of the outside world, from the noises, to reconnect with yourself. This is when we have to be intentional about it. Set boundaries, even with yourself. I'm not going to fidget and move. I'm not going to check my phone. This is a moment for stillness. This is a moment that I choose to focus inward rather than what's happening around me. Because what I've learned this very early on. Because as an observer, as an introspective person, as a quiet person, I would just see how people, they have no sense of inner stillness, anything around them, and they react to it. It's like, whoa, no composure. The sixth limb is concentration. It's about training the mind to focus on a single point. It could be staring at an object in front of you. It could be a mantra like a it could be your breath, realizing your inhales and your exhales, how your body or how your belly fills up and how it empties. Just bringing your mind to concentrate on one of these things helps to practice. It helps you to stay focused. And that takes mental work. It's what we do to try to be fully present in the moment. Limb 7 is meditation. We've centered ourselves. We're concentrating on our breath or on a mantra, or we're staring at something. We're doing our best not to be distracted by what's happening outside, what's moving, who's saying what. The absence of distraction and being completely absorbed in the present moment. This is what meditation is. It is where we experience a quiet mind, open awareness. But quiet mind, it's troublesome because your thoughts are never gonna go away, you know? So I've been shifting the way that I think about it to more like observing your thoughts, observing where your mind went. And over time, you'll be able to see if you have a pattern. Because we all have our patterns, we all have our stuff. We all have the things that we ruminate on, that we just play over in our heads, or pain, our trauma, or the thing where this person did do me that one time there. And your mind goes there. It will. But meditation is really doing that practice, showing up to practice, and just allowing yourself to be, just simply be, without judgment, without interference. No need to scratch your head. No, just sit and be still. The world requires us to be doing the opposite constantly. Moving, moving, moving. And our minds operate like that. And our inner worlds operate like that. That's not sustainable. The last and the eighth limb would be reaching enlightenment, this bliss. In yoga, it's called samadhi. You know, samadhi is the ultimate goal of yoga. It's a state of union where you're experiencing this oneness with the world, with the universe, with that energy that connects all of us. While this may seem like a hard and distant thing that many of us won't reach, I feel like the more we learn to have that sense of inner peace, that inner harmony, that fulfillment, we're touching on what it means. I feel like this is what God wants for us. Whatever God looks like or represent to you. Because even if we're religious people, as individuals, we're so unique. We are so unique. Each of us are so different that even if you subscribe to the same religion, each of you are living your own versions of that religion. At the end of the day, it come back to you. Me not argue. Me not argue with nobody. It come back to you. Your inner peace, your harmony, your fulfillment. How would you say we're practicing yoga every day without even thinking about it, without even realizing it? It represents how we show up with each other with patience. When we focus our attention on a single task, and when we breathe to calm our nerves, when we practice gratitude, you know what? I'm thankful for today. But just thank, like, it doesn't have to be anything big. I'm grateful for my cat today. I'm grateful to interact with this person who's gave me a compliment today. It's how we learn to let go of things that no longer serves us. You know, somebody said something that made you annoyed. But instead of choosing to carry that with you, you just let it go because it doesn't serve you and your day to carry that. Probably has nothing to do with you. So just choosing to release that. You know what? I'm not gonna let that. It's yoga. So I want to talk about how we can embody these principles. I think we should always try to remember that we're spiritual beings having a human developmental experience. How much we choose to develop has so much to do with us, but also has so much to do with the external tools and the external distractions. So it's how we interact with ourselves and how we interact with the world and finding that balance. That's all. No matter what your focus is in life, we're all focused on satisfying a need or a desire of some sort. And there are levels to this, from basic to complex. Some not necessary, but this is when personal preference and likes and dislikes come in. But it's how wrapped up we get into that. Are we taking it more from a materialistic perspective and less from a spiritual? Are we too into the spiritual and not so much in the physical? It's balance. We're all here to self actualize. Some of us are more aware than others. Some care more than others. You have your approaches, I have mine. You have your perspective, I have mine. So, yoga offers practical tools to cultivate inner peace, eth- ethical groundings, and ultimately just fulfillment. If you choose to look at life that way, then this exercise can be for you. If you choose, it can just be an exercise. It can just be about physically building strength and flexibility. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to think about introspection. You don't have to think about let me focus on my inner self and me. You don't have to do any of that work. You don't have to be intentional about it if you don't want to. No one is forcing you. This is a space that gets exciting for me. This is a space for those curious, for those deep thinkers, for those deep spiritual people that want to just learn more and explore and live to be the best version of you with yourself and with the world, to achieving a balanced life, or we can balance our energetical interactions so that we can be intentional about how we live in the physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual aspects of this human experience. In wrapping this episode up, I hope this episode has opened up a new way for you of seeing yoga if you're just thinking and listening about yoga. I hope you have a better understanding. It's not just a physical practice. It's a spiritual one, it's a mental one. It can be a lifestyle, a way of life, not a religion, a way of life. How you can be your best self. That can't wrong. What part of that can wrong? One where we're tapping into being the best version of ourselves or being better versions of ourselves every day. The aim is to make it more of an intention, to make it intuitive to you and what you need, to center your healing, to center your release, to center your ease. Let me tell you, what you learn about yourself on the mat can be taken off and applied to other areas of your life. So when you stay a little bit longer in the pose that you thought, oh my God, this is so much, why them do it? And you make it to the end of it and you realize, oh, I'm a little bit stronger here. I pushed my capacity here. Not from a dangerous or ego perspective, but that as an example, you can take that off your mat and apply it to another area of your life where you can exercise some more flexibility, some more capacity. You're stronger than you think. Yoga is present in every breath, in every act of kindness, and in every moment of self reflection. Thank you for joining me on this journey to the heart of yoga. There's so much to learn. This is not even the iceberg, and there's so much more that I need to learn. But like I said, it's a lifelong learning journey. So thank you for being here with me. If anything from this episode resonating with you, leave a comment, share with someone, and let's build this conscious community together. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the Yadi Yogi. Until next time, stay rested and stay resilient. And remember, you're already practicing yoga every day.